The most powerful telescope ever constructed was aimed at a patch of apparent nothingness. Just pure darkness, no galaxies, no stars. For decades, we considered that sliver of space a cosmic blind spot, completely empty and practically irrelevant. Yet, after the James Webb Space Telescope gazed into that blackness for days, gathering the weakest imaginable light, the resulting image completely shattered our understanding of reality. While Hubble previously spotted roughly 10,000 galaxies there, James Webb exposed nearly 800,000 of them, all crammed into a region of the sky no larger than a grain of sand held at arm's length. This was not merely a better photograph. It was a revelation. It proved that throughout the entire history of astronomy, we had observed barely 1% of what is actually out there. The cosmos was never sparse. It was overflowing. We were simply blind to the vast majority of it. And once you truly grasp the magnitude of that scale, reality will never look the same to you again. The flaw of visible light. For generations, astronomers attempted to gauge the universe's size simply by counting what was visible to them. Galaxies shining in visible light, and stars that had not yet been stretched beyond our detection. Light that arrived before cosmic expansion dragged it out of sight. At the time, it felt reasonable. Count the galaxies, guess their density, extrapolate outward, and construct a model of existence. But that method was catastrophically flawed. It was akin to guessing an entire city's population by standing on a single street corner at midnight, counting the few people walking past, and assuming that was everybody. Effectively, that is how we treated the universe. Hubble revolutionized our understanding of space, but it was limited to seeing visible light. The vast majority of the distant cosmos no longer radiates in visible wavelengths. Thanks to cosmic expansion, its light has been stretched out into the infrared, into frequencies Hubble simply could not pick up. Those hidden galaxies didn't suddenly appear. They were always there. They were just invisible to our instruments. When Webb arrived with its infrared vision, reality itself didn't change. Our perception did, and in an instant, emptiness collapsed into an overwhelming abundance. Staring into the abyss, researchers made a daring choice. They directed James Webb at the exact same tiny region of space Hubble had previously surveyed, a patch already deemed crowded by old standards, and commanded the telescope to just stare at it for 250 hours. 10 full days of capturing every possible photon. No shortcuts, no filtering, just pure patience. When the image was finally assembled, it contained 797,942 galaxies. Nearly 800,000 massive collections of stars, with each galaxy potentially harboring hundreds of billions of suns, and each sun potentially orbited by planets. All of this concealing itself within what once looked like nothing. This solitary image implied something simultaneously awe-inspiring and deeply terrifying. If our estimates were off by 98% in just one minuscule patch of sky, then our calculations for the entire cosmos are almost undoubtedly wrong as well. The observable universe might not hold hundreds of billions of galaxies. It could harbor tens of trillions or even more. These are numbers so impossibly massive they cease to function as math and start becoming abstractions the human mind simply cannot hold. Reality didn't merely get larger. It became unmanageable, breaking the cosmic timeline. But then Webb stumbled upon something far more disturbing. Not just more galaxies, but galaxies that absolutely should not exist. One of these, known as Jade's GS Z14-0, radiated its light when the universe was only about 290 million years old, less than 2% of its current age. By every established model, a galaxy like this should have been physically impossible. It was too massive, too bright, and far too organized. It held stars worth hundreds of millions of solar masses, formed in what amounts to a few cosmic weeks. There simply shouldn't have been enough time. Scientists assumed there had to be a mistake. Instruments were checked, data was verified, and measurements were repeated. The results held firm. Worse yet, it was an anomaly. Webb revealed hundreds of similarly impossible early galaxies, all of them entirely too developed, too luminous, and appearing far too early for our understanding of cosmic history. This wasn't a minor correction. It was a foundational failure. The timeline of galaxy evolution we trusted for decades is glaringly incomplete and potentially wrong in fundamental ways. The early universe was not a slow, orderly progression. It was violently, efficiently, and explosively creative. The expanding horizon. This is where the sheer scale becomes nearly unbearable to contemplate. The universe is roughly 13.8 billion years old, so your instinct might tell you that the most distant objects we can observe are 13.8 billion light-years away. It is simple logic, but completely wrong, because space itself is expanding. The actual edge of our observable universe isn't 13.8 billion light-years out. It sits at a distance of about 46.5 billion light-years in every direction, creating a total diameter of roughly 93 billion light-years. Light has been racing toward us for billions of years, but the space beneath it kept stretching, pulling those galaxies further away as the light traveled. Today, certain galaxies are receding from us at speeds faster than light. Not because they are breaking physics, but because the space between us is expanding faster than light can traverse it. This forms a cosmic horizon, a definitive boundary beyond which nothing can ever be seen, even in principle. Whole segments of reality exist permanently out of our reach. And with every passing second, more galaxies slip across that boundary, vanishing from our observable universe forever. We are living during a brief, fleeting cosmic moment when the universe still reveals its past, an era that will not last. The tragedy of cosmic loss. Perhaps one of the most unsettling realizations confirmed by James Webb has nothing to do with wonder or beauty. It is about loss, a continuous, irreversible loss. The universe isn't simply massive. It is growing in a very specific and unforgiving manner. Space is actively stretching, and that stretching is accelerating, fueled by dark energy, which makes up about 68% of everything. This expansion isn't slowing down, it is speeding up. This means that galaxies you can currently see are already doomed to vanish. Their light is reaching us today, but the expanding void between us is growing faster than any new light can ever cross. Eventually, they will slip past the cosmic horizon, and when that happens, they are gone for good. Not destroyed, just forever unobservable and unreachable, as if they never existed. James Webb didn't merely reveal more galaxies. It proved that the universe is actively erasing itself from our view, and doing so constantly. We're watching the cosmos in the singular moment it still permits itself to be seen. The observable bubble. Here is a reality Webb forces us to confront that most people never think about. There is no single, shared universe that everyone experiences. You exist inside an observable bubble, a sphere with a radius of roughly 46.5 billion light-years. That is the specific region of reality where light has had enough time to reach you. Everything inside your bubble is potentially knowable. Everything outside of it is not. But this bubble isn't universal. Stand somewhere else in the cosmos, and you get a completely different observable universe. Overlapping with ours, yes, but not identical. There are entire galaxies out there that you will never witness. Not due to limited technology, but because the laws of physics absolutely forbid it. This fractures reality itself. There is no supreme view from nowhere, no ultimate cosmic perspective that observes everything at once. Reality is fundamentally partial. Every single observer is trapped inside their own isolated slice of existence, surrounded by things they can never access. Webb didn't just expand the universe. It shattered the idea that the universe is entirely knowable at all. Trapped in the past. Temporal isolation is another consequence of this staggering cosmic scale. When you peer at distant galaxies through Webb, you aren't seeing them as they are. You're seeing them as they used to be. Certain galaxies detected by Webb emitted their light when the universe was just a few 100 million years old. That light has spent over 13 billion years traveling to reach you. Whatever those galaxies are doing right now is completely unknowable to you. There is no cosmic now, no universal present. Every location in the universe operates on its own timeline, experiencing its own present moment that can never be synchronized with yours. Time and distance are inherently inseparable. The further you look, the deeper into the past you fall. Because of this, even if intelligent civilizations exist across the cosmos, the vast majority are permanently locked out of contact. Not because they are hostile or hiding, but because physics makes a shared presence impossible. Webb exposes a universe filled with histories, not conversations. The collapse of human intuition. When scientists discuss the sheer scale exposed by Webb, the numbers themselves become a form of violence against human intuition. 800,000 galaxies crammed into one minuscule patch of sky, each galaxy holding, on average, 200 billion stars. Each star potentially harboring planets, possibly life, and maybe even consciousness. Multiply those figures, and meaning begins to collapse. Your brain evolved to navigate terrain, track faces, and count fruit. It was never designed to process trillions of anything. At that magnitude, significance feels impossible. How can anything matter in a cosmos this vast? Webb forces you to confront that intense discomfort head-on. It offers no comfort. It refuses to shrink reality down to fit your expectations. Instead, it expands reality until your own sense of importance breaks. And once it breaks, you are faced with a choice. Either reject this immense scale as meaningless, or accept that meaning was never about size to begin with. Maps built on missing data. For the vast majority of human history, we believe the universe consisted only of what we could see, first with our eyes and later with telescopes. With every upgrade to our vision, we assumed we were finally inching closer to the truth. Webb exposed the flaw in that thinking. The universe didn't suddenly become larger. It revealed that it had always been vaster than our perception allowed. What we mistook for emptiness was never truly empty. It was simply invisible to our tools. This means that for centuries, our understanding of reality was built on absence rather than presence. We were drawing maps from missing data and declaring them complete. It's a deeply unsettling realization because it carries an uncomfortable implication. At any given moment, entire hidden layers of reality might exist just beyond our current ability to detect them. In the same way infrared galaxies were hidden from Hubble, there may be phenomena out there today that even James Webb itself cannot see. Reality doesn't wait for our comprehension. It exists entirely independently of whether we can perceive it. The violence of creation. Beyond simply the volume of galaxies, one of Webb's most shocking revelations is how rapidly they emerged. Our previous models theorized that the universe required time to organize itself, forming stars slowly, building galaxies gradually, and calmly assembling structure. The data says otherwise. The infant universe was chaotic, fiercely efficient, and aggressive in its creation. Gargantuan galaxies materialized in cosmic moments. Star formation occurred at rates we previously thought impossible. Order didn't emerge delicately, it happened violently. This demands a reconsideration of cosmic evolution itself. The universe didn't gently ease its way into complexity. It exploded into it. Every time Webb peers deeper, it reinforces the exact same message. The cosmos does not respect our timelines. It doesn't care what we think should be physically possible. It merely does what it does, and we are left scrambling to catch up. The limits of knowledge. Just as there is a physical cosmic horizon blocking light from reaching us, there may also be a horizon beyond which human knowledge itself cannot pass. James Webb proves that even when we build the most sophisticated instruments imaginable, we remain trapped within the limits imposed by physics. Expansion erases information. Distance destroys simultaneity. Time splinters reality into completely disconnected slices. Right now, Events are happening that will never influence us. Structures are forming that we will never detect. There are answers to questions that we will never even know to ask. This isn't a failure of science. It is a property of the universe. Grasping this reality entirely shifts the goal of exploration. It is no longer about knowing everything. It is about knowing whatever can be known, while accepting that completeness is strictly forbidden. The illusion of here, before Webb, here felt stable. Earth, the solar system, the Milky Way, these felt like fixed locations embedded within a larger but understandable framework. Webb erases that comfort. Here is not a place. It is merely a temporary alignment of space, time, and visibility. Your location is defined not just by where you are, but by what light has had time to reach you. Change the timing, and here transforms into something else entirely. The universe possesses no center, and it has no edge for you to stand on. Every single observer naturally assumes they sit at the absolute center of their own observable bubble, not because they're special, but because physics makes that illusion unavoidable. Webb exposes a universe where position is relative, access is strictly limited, and reality itself shifts depending on when and where you exist. And once you truly absorb that, the idea of a single, universally shared universe dissolves completely. The true scale of separation. One of Webb's most brutal teachings is that human intuition isn't merely incorrect. It is fundamentally incompatible with cosmic reality. Our brains were wired to survive on a savanna, judging distances in meters, time in days, and quantities in handfuls. Absolutely nothing in our biology prepared us to process billions of years or trillions of galaxies. When James Webb unveils 800,000 galaxies within a patch of sky smaller than a grain of sand, it breaks intuition completely. The mind tries to compress this into something manageable, and it fails. At that point, most people simply retreat into abstraction. They say that's big and move on. But the truth is much darker. The cosmos isn't just large. It is large in a way that literally cannot be internalized. There's no mental model capable of holding it. Any sense of comfort you derive comes from giving up on understanding, not from actually achieving it. Webb forces us to confront a reality where our comprehension hits a hard limit. Not because we lack intelligence, but because the scale itself exceeds the architecture of a human mind. As the observable universe expands and distant galaxies slip beyond the cosmic horizon, a deeply unsettling truth becomes clear. The vast majority of reality will never, ever know you existed. Not metaphorically, physically. There are regions of the cosmos so remote that light from Earth will never reach them. No matter how long time continues, your species, your planet, and your entire history are permanently sealed off from massive portions of existence. And this separation isn't mutual in the way we typically imagine distance. To those far-off regions, Earth isn't just far away. It is non-existent, not unknown, not hidden, simply absent. Webb reveals that this isolation isn't an accident of our technology. It is a structural feature of reality. The universe fragments itself into causally severed regions, each living out its own history with zero awareness of the others. You are surrounded by phenomena that exist but will never matter to you. In turn, you exist surrounded by things to which you will never matter. That is the genuine scale of separation. The closing window. Another profound implication of James Webb's discoveries is that we happen to be living in a moment when the universe still remembers its own beginning. As expansion accelerates further, more and more evidence of cosmic history is wiped from view. In the distant future, observers residing in the Milky Way will not see billions of galaxies. They will see almost nothing. No visible expansion, no cosmic background radiation, no traces of the Big Bang. They will inhabit a universe that appears completely static, timeless, and empty, with absolutely no way to discover it was ever any different. Webb proves that our era is cosmically privileged, not because we are special, but because we exist before the universe completely hides its own origins. We are witnessing the cosmos during a moment that will never repeat. This is an eternal progress, marching forward forever. It is a closing window, meaning collapses inward. Confronted with numbers this massive, the instinctive human reaction is nihilism. If the universe contains tens of trillions of galaxies, how could anything we do possibly matter? Webb doesn't answer that question directly, but it reframes it entirely. Significance was never about occupying a large fraction of space. In a universe this incomprehensibly immense, nothing occupies a large fraction of space. Meaning cannot be proportional to distance, volume, or duration, because those metrics dwarf everything equally. Instead, Webb quietly points towards something else. That meaning exists locally. It exists within reach, bound by the exact same horizons that restrict our contact and knowledge. What matters isn't what happens everywhere, but what happens right where influence is actually possible. In a universe that fractures reality into isolated bubbles, value doesn't scale outward. It collapses inward. And that idea, uncomfortable as it may be, might just be the only one that survives contact with the true scale of the cosmos. The final era of discovery. The James Webb Telescope didn't actually make the universe larger. It merely exposed how small our understanding has always been. We thought we were mapping reality, but we were barely sketching its faint outline. We believed that emptiness meant absence, that darkness meant nothing was there. Webb proved the darkness was completely full all along, overflowing with events, histories, and galaxies that never asked for our observation. It revealed a universe so agonizingly vast that true connection is the exception, not the rule. A reality splintered into observable bubbles where the vast majority of existence will never touch you, never know of you, and never be reachable, even in theory. Not because our technology is weak, but because physics forbids it. That is the authentic scale of a universe. It's not just size, it is separation. Distance isn't just physical space. It is causality. It is time. It is permanent disconnection. The overwhelming majority of what exists is permanently locked away, slipping past our horizons as expansion accelerates, erased from view, taking its stories with it. And yet, here you are, alive during this brief cosmic moment when the universe still permits itself to be seen. Alive in this incredibly narrow window where its depth, its structure, and its very origins are still visible. Alive at the exact point in cosmic history when asking these questions is even possible. Webb did not make you insignificant. It stripped away the illusion that significance comes from scale. Meaning was never about filling up space. It was never about being at the center. In a reality this massive, absolutely nothing is central. Meaning thrives locally. It is fragile and rare, nestled safely inside the tiny regions where awareness can actually spark and look outward into the dark. Consciousness is not common. Comprehension is never guaranteed. The mere ability to gaze up at the night sky, grasp even a fraction of what is out there, and feel awe instead of indifference might be one of the rarest phenomena in your entire observable universe. The cosmos does not care if you understand it, but you do, and that might be enough. If this changed the way you look at the night sky, let me know in the comments. Does knowing the true, terrifying scale of reality make you feel smaller? Or does it make the small, fragile things you can actually touch feel more precious? And if you want to continue exploring the discoveries that are fundamentally reshaping reality itself, stay here. Subscribe, because we're living in the absolute last era when the universe still allows itself to be known. I'd love to hear what you think about this, so drop a comment below. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please share this video and subscribe to help the channel grow. Every bit of support counts,